guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. Today I am going to be sharing my September goals with you, and I'm recording this September 7th. Last month I also did my August video. I think I filmed it maybe on August 6th was when I filmed my August video. I'm not sure how this video is going to go. If you saw my fall refresh video, you will know that I have really taken a lot of time over the past year to implement some new home management systems and strategies. I'm really pleased with the progress that I've made. And while it doesn't necessarily feel like I have a bunch of margin right at the moment, which I will talk about shortly, I definitely have more margin in my days that can be used for rest and renewal and more hobby type things that I don't necessarily take the time for during the day, because I feel like my to-do list is always so long, or I have big projects that I want to work on. And so I push off any sort of recreation type stuff. But I've really felt the pull recently to re-examine my boundaries about how I am running my days, how much time I'm spending on social media within some of my Facebook groups and groups that I actually run, not groups that I'm just a member of. And just some other little things that I kind of want to adjust as I get into the fall. And so first I'm going to go through August, and then we will set up September together. I'm still a little iffy on what I'm going to do. I did write down a few things in my Leuchtturm notebook, which is what I've been using for goal planning all year, and I love it. I actually did buy a couple of new Leuchtturm notebooks recently for next year. I got this one for goals, and I got this blue for my book journal. We'll see. The power sheets are coming out soon. I'm really interested to see if they've made any changes, and all the goal planners are going to be released, in the next, probably at the beginning of October, I would imagine. For most of the 2024 goal planners. So there's a lot of decisions to be made, but for right now, I'm going to continue using my Erin Condren Life Planner. I love these dashboard pages that are right after the monthly calendar for goal planning. I like setting up my list here with my monthly projects, weekly rhythms, and daily habits I'm working on. I like to be able to see it. So I like to have this visible in my office so that I'm constantly thinking about making progress on my goals. That is a tip from me that is very helpful. Okay. That was like a really long introduction. I probably didn't need to talk that long, but you should come to expect that from my videos. Okay, so monthly projects. The first thing was Jack's birthday, which obviously he had his birthday and we had a lot of fun. He had some friends over. He went to play mini golf. We went out for breakfast. We did a whole bunch of fun things, and it was a great time celebrating him. We definitely enjoyed it. The next thing on my list is related to my homeschooling goal, and that was our homeschool break. We did have that break. It was not a break at all for me. I had planned originally when I set up my year that these weeks, so we're doing 6 weeks on, 1 week off. During that 1 week off, I wanted it to be a focus on my kids' passion projects, but I also wanted to be able to focus on my own passion projects, as well as some home management maintenance type things that I don't have as much time to work on in our general day-to-day, because I'm so all in on homeschooling. That is really my number one priority. And so I don't take a lot of time to do any deep cleaning or real organizational projects or decluttering type things, which even though I've gone through my house and I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, there are still seasons where I want to continue to pare down what we own. So I ended up having so many appointments and other things going on that week. It was not great. It was right after my husband was still sick at that point. He had been sick for like a week prior. My oldest was sick, and then Jack and Lucy started getting sick. So it was just not a relaxing time. And in retrospect, I probably should have just taken the next week off as well, but I didn't because if you look on the next thing on my list, projects, this is a personal project that has nothing to do with my goals. It is relating to a nonprofit that I am part of forming a new nonprofit, and the project that I've been working on is developing a new website for this nonprofit, and it has been so much work, so many hours. And I think that I forgot when I went into, into this volunteer type position, how much work it was going to be. And yeah, so that has taken an enormous amount of time. I am just finishing up today, I think. And then a website is never really done, but my part of it is going to be done. And I am so happy to be done because it has been hanging over my head. It's not a project that I have just taken on myself. I'm relying on other people to give me information so that I can build this website. And that's a lot more challenging for me because people don't always work on my timeline. Obviously, they need to work on their own timelines. And I've set some deadlines that have not quite worked out as well as I had hoped. But yes, if you remember me talking a little bit about boundaries in my intro, this is going to be one of those boundaries. And then the next thing was working on my content calendar, which I did, and I feel really good actually about September content. I have a lot of content from my vacation week. I did film a couple of vlogs. I did have my monthly reset day. I did do a weekly plan with me and a week of daily plans. And those, it's really just a lot of chaotic content, but I am putting it up because I need people to understand that life is not perfect. I hate to see on social media, social media kind of rubs me the wrong way. I do not like the perfectly curated Instagram pages. I don't necessarily like to do that myself. I'm very much old school when it comes to social media with just instant updates. I loved it when Instagram ran their feed just by whomever you follow. If they posted something recently, that's what you saw and everything was chronological. Because that was just how I used Instagram. So I do notice that a lot of people share amazing content, really encouraging content, but I don't view it necessarily as real. And so I did some very real, raw videos during that homeschool break because I was so incredibly overwhelmed this week. And it prompted me to make some changes, which you heard about in my fall refresh. So I did work on my content calendar. I'm pretty pleased with that. I have to figure out, that is something that I have to work on for the rest of the year as well. Film during break. I did not give myself any credit for this, even though I did film some videos. Like I said, some vlogs and some plan with me. It was not the filming that I was actually wanting to do, which was more sit down, front facing, good quality, encouraging videos to go into the fall. So I didn't give myself credit for it, but I did do some filming during that break. Then our first day of homeschool, during the first day of our second 6-week session, we did have that. However, Jack and Lucy were sick, and so it was not as great as I had hoped. I did give the kids all of their school supplies, and I did give them, their first day of school interviews, and we did eventually take pictures, not on the first day of school, but later in the week when everybody was kind of feeling a little bit better. But, you just have to kind of roll with the punches. It is what it is. I did get some things done. It was not at all what I expected, and, that is just how it is sometimes. So for my weekly rhythms, it was a lot of just normal things that I need to keep track of. Weekly planning. I want to make sure that I am planning each week in my life planner here because it helps me as I'm doing my daily plan to already have projects set aside for specific days, and then I can make sure that I put them in my time blocks for that particular day. When I sit down to do my Sunday brain dump and then set up my week, both for my personal planning and my homeschool planning, our weeks go so much better. Now, I can still do reverse record keeping. I can still do, quickly set up things on Monday. But if I do it on Sunday, my whole week is a much better situation. Now, some weeks are so incredibly busy, I cannot even focus on putting together a weekly plan. And on those weeks, I do tend to just use my daily planner. But overall, if I can get my weekly and homeschool planning done on Sundays, I'm much better. Budget and spend tracking, I did every week. Food prep, I did 3 out of 5 weeks. Again, this is something that when I do it, things are just much better for the week ahead. Of course, one of the weeks in August that I did food prep, our oven broke. And then I had all of this food prep to make these meals that I needed for the oven. And I continuously forgot that my oven was broken. It was really bad. Like, I had just said we need to get a new oven to my husband and then proceeded to make bread dough to make bread. And so thankfully my mom was home and I could bring the bread over to bake at her house, but still I also did that for 2 casseroles. And so I was like, it was not good. Anyways, food prep is something that I definitely want to focus on in September, especially surrounding the kids' lunches and making sure that we have snacks and such available. The next thing was weekly home projects. I have talked about this. I don't know if I talked about it in my last video, but I wanted to start including more of the Passionate Penny Pincher Home Planner weekly projects into my weekly plans because I do love all of those projects that they have in the planner. The planner, the new 2024 home planner actually is going to be released on Sunday, the 10th. So I will leave a link for that in the description box if you're interested. I am going to purchase that planner because I want to go through it. And at least last year when you ordered it during launch, they gave you all of the digital files in addition to the physical planner. Perhaps I don't need to get the physical planner, but I do like to have something in hand. The thing that I was really hoping was that they would change the planner from horizontal to vertical because I prefer a vertical planner, but it is still horizontal. I did see that on their website, but I am still going to get it and see what extra things come with it. And obviously I will share that when I receive it with you guys. But I love all of the projects and all of the lists that are within that planner. And that is why I'm going to buy it again this year. I probably could use the one that I have from 2023 and just kind of recreate some of the lists, but it is helpful for me to have that. And then the last thing on my list was Patreon exclusive content, which I did do. If you're not part of my membership community, I would love for you to come check us out. I do workshops in there through exclusive content. We have live streams. I have daily check-ins. I share a lot of my days with you in our private band group, which is, it's an app. It's similar to Facebook, except you have to have an invitation link in order to be admitted into the group. It's completely private, but it allows everybody in the group to communicate with one another and post pictures and videos if they want. I would love for you to come over and check it out this fall. As we start the fall season, we're going to be talking a lot about goals, about boundaries in our homeschool, adjustments that we may need to make in our weekly rhythms and all of those things. I would love for you to come and join us, but I did do Patreon exclusive content every week, and so I was pleased about that. For my daily habits, the one that was really good was my tier 1 morning routine. And actually health and wellness was also really good. I was tracking some things and I was getting out for a walk almost every day. I needed to because I was so stressed out about this project up here. I was going for like an hour walk every day. And it was very helpful. I have not been doing it this week and I can definitely feel the difference, and I need to just get that back into a good habit. It's a little bit harder because the weather has not been great. It's been warm the past couple of days, so if I hadn't been so busy, it would have been great to get out for a walk, but I haven't been able to. And then it's supposed to start raining tomorrow for like the foreseeable future. as far out as I can see in the extended forecast. So anyways, I did do tier 2 as well quite a bit this month. I really focused on my morning routine. I didn't get to tier 3 very often. That was mainly because I was trying to get right to work on these projects before homeschool started. So I was utilizing a lot of those early morning hours for that work. My dailies, I did most of the month. Health and wellness, I did most of the month. PM routine, I started out really strong and then just did not do it at all. And one thing that helps prompt me for my PM routine is if I am getting ready for the day and filming videos. So if I don't have makeup on, which I rarely wear makeup, I really only wear makeup when I'm doing videos, but if I'm not wearing makeup, I don't do that end of day routine of washing my face and doing the serums and moisturizing and all of that stuff. I do my general hygiene, obviously, brushing my teeth, flossing my teeth, and reading, and that's about it. But the rest of the stuff on my PM routine, I'm just not as concerned about. So anyways, that was August. I am pretty pleased with how things went. I'm glad that August is behind us. It was a really stressful month for me. And this first week has not been as stressful because we're actually getting the website built this week, whereas before it was all just mock-ups and design elements, all things that I really enjoy doing, but just take an enormous amount of time and concentration on. Making sure that we have the correct content and different menus and how things are going to link to each other, all of that stuff. It's a lot. And yeah, I'll be really happy when it's done. So let's work on September. So like I said, it is September 7th right now. So I am a little bit behind on setting up my month. And it is what it is. And honestly, during my fall refresh, I did talk a little bit about how I wasn't really sure what I was going to be working on in September. And that's mainly because I wanted to spend some time doing a little bit more dreaming and figuring out exactly how I want to incorporate more recreational type things in my weeks. And I have said this in a lot of places. One of my favorite things is reading, and I do a lot of reading with my kids during homeschool anyways, but I do not read for my own enjoyment until I go to bed. And I think that I read in bed with my Kindle because when I'm in bed, I can't do anything else. I can't vacuum or tidy or work on web content or work on video editing or work on planning or organizing or doing the dishes, cooking, none of that stuff. I can only either sleep or I'm reading. So with that in mind, I would like to start taking a little bit more time during the day to rest and really focus on rest and boundaries. And so I think that is something that is going to take a lot more consideration for me. And I still don't know how it's going to look in September, how that really will work, how I can get things set up, if it is going to be project-based. So I think that September is going to be more of like a consideration month overall. And I think that that's probably a good thing. So the first thing that I'm going to put on my list here is the website, which honestly, I hope to finish this today. There's going to be more updates as we go through the months, but the main bulk of the work will be done now, and I think that is really, really good, and I'm really pleased about that. So I will put that down on my list. The next project that I have, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to manage my goals, like what I want to put the colors under, because this is my personal color, and this would be typically things that I would write down, things that I'm enjoying doing, but my home management strategies, my slow money strategies, this one is this color, this green, even though this is a little bit darker. I think what I'm going to do is put green for just these personal consideration type things, even though some of it is associated with some of these other goals that I have, I'm just going to use green. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is go through my yarn and see how much yarn I have, which I have quite a bit of yarn, and also just figure out what projects I could possibly make with what I have for yarn. Obviously, cotton yarn, I typically will make dish rags or rags for our kitchen, and I did do that a lot over the past month. I spent quite a bit of time just knitting, well, not a ton of time. Knitting a square dish rag does not take me very long, but it was something that I was doing. I did find a couple of random projects. One was this sock that it just came up in my Instagram memories, and it was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and I started knitting this for Emma. Well, now it fits Lucy, and I only have one sock, so I would love to make the other sock so that she has a pair of socks. I used to knit all of my kids' sweaters and socks and hats and mittens and all of those things, scarves, all of that stuff. Every year I would just knit new stuff, and then I don't know, maybe around 2017, 2018, I just stopped. I think part of that was because I used to join a yarn along. If you are an old school blogger or read blogs from the past, there would be these things called link ups, and one that I participated in was a yarn along, and it was so fun. It was what you were knitting and what you were reading in the week, so perfect for me, and it kept me accountable to continue sharing my projects. But she no longer is doing that link up, and so I kind of stopped my knitting and haven't really picked it up much in the past 5 years or so. So it would be good if I could start doing that again. I also want to organize my sewing supplies. Now, a couple of years ago, we got Emma a sewing machine for Christmas, and I have a sewing machine. We do not have them set up anywhere. They're just kind of packed away, and then when we want to use them, we take them out. I would love to have someplace in the basement set up. Our basement is finished. Someplace in the basement set up with both mine and Emma's sewing machines so that we can work on things. Now, when I was younger, I used to do so much sewing, like in high school. I did a ton of sewing, and then when Emma was really little, I did a lot of sewing, and then again, I just stopped. Not because I don't love it, because I do, but it just doesn't seem like I can take the time anymore to do some of those things. And one of the priorities that I have for this month is to start remembering that it is okay to take the time for doing some of these things. These things are really important to me, and what is the point in life just passing you by if you're just working on cleaning projects or home organization projects or working on online content, you know? So I'm starting to think about 2024, and you will probably see that a lot over the next couple of months. Boundaries, simplicity, really considering my time and where I spend my time. I think that it's going to be fun. Okay, so I also want to just consider my time. That is the last monthly project that I have for kind of my personal passions, goals. It'll make a lot more sense if you've watched my fall refresh video, but essentially what I had said is that I've been working on my goals, but I've only been working on the first part of each goal. And almost all of my goals have a second part, which is to allow me time to pursue my passions, living a life I love and that my family loves, taking time for what I consider important. All of those things I haven't necessarily been doing, and it's not because I don't want to, it's just because it's very easy for my time to fill up with other things. Managing a home, running a small business, taking care of 3 kids and a giant dog and all of that, as well as homeschooling, there is always something that can be done. There is, you know, if I want to just constantly work 24/7, I absolutely could, but I don't want to. And so taking pockets of time really for some of my more fun things is definitely important to me. Then another monthly project, if I can find my right pen here, is to work on content calendar for the fourth quarter. And this is really just brainstorming for me. And then let me see, are there any other, yes, there is one more project, and technically it is still on my home management goal, and that is to clean out my office closet. And I have talked about this a few times. I have done a lot of clean with me's where I've decluttered my office closet, taken everything out, gotten rid of a ton of stuff, put it back together, but I really want to go through it. And I actually had started to go through it during that week off, and there were so many other things that came up that week that I just couldn't get it done. And honestly, my office is, well, it's clean right now, but I have like a card table behind me next to one of my desks in my office, and it is covered with stuff, and I have started taking things out of my office closet. So that is something that I also want to do. I'm probably going to focus on that next week. And yes, okay. Then for weekly rhythms, they are going to be, again, a little bit personal focused. So I'm going to use my green color here, even though they line up with a lot of different goals here. This green color will remind me that it is personal and enjoyable to me. Whereas if I use all of these colors, it'll feel more work-based to me. I will still put the little dot stickers on the side to kind of correspond with some of the goals. So the weekly rhythms that we have, and actually I say I'm going to do green, but I'm going to actually do purple because it involves my kids as well. So we have 2 days during the week where we are focusing on something other than typical homeschool stuff during the day. So the first day is on Wednesdays. We have a focus on passion projects, and I've done several videos. If you're interested in this is more for my older kids. I'm really trying to mentor them and guide them into creating concrete steps in order to make progress on the things that they find value in. I mentioned this several times. Right now, Emma's project is a novel that she's working on. She's hoping to complete her rough draft before Preptober for NaNoWriMo, which is around the middle of October. And Jack has been working on 2 different video games, one Roblox game and one in Unreal Engine. So passion projects are our focus on Wednesdays. And on those days, I also want to be working a little bit more on my own passion projects. Now, Wednesdays are also my live stream day with my membership community. And in August, that was when I started I had that aha moment of, oh, well, what am I going to do during my live stream? Typically our live streams are either a Q&A. Once a month we have a live Q&A where you can ask me anything that you want, homeschooling, home, rhythms, goals, how to do pretty much anything, and I will chat about it with you. But on my other live streams during the month, I will do a co-working session. So essentially what that is you choose a project that you want to work on, and we work on that project using the Pomodoro technique. So 25 minutes of focus work and then a 5-minute break, and then 25 minutes of focus work and a 5-minute break. If you are familiar with productivity sprints or reading sprints or writing sprints and people doing those types of live streams on YouTube, that is similar to my co-working session. But instead of having a particular thing that we're working on, you can choose anything. And so in August, I didn't have anything to do one Wednesday, and I said, well, why don't I work on some knitting because I need some new dish rags? And so that is what I did. And then I did it again for the next week, and I really enjoyed that. So focusing on my passion projects and letting my kids see me working on my passion projects is definitely something that I would like to hopefully start including more in my weekly rhythm. So that is the first thing. And then the second one is our screen-free day. Now, our screen-free day is on Fridays, and essentially what that means is I give my kids a pass on online school. Now, it hasn't been like that for the past few months. We did really good at the beginning of the year, probably January through May. And then June, we kind of fell off. July, we weren't really doing that. And then we were getting back to school and just trying to get familiar with the school resources. So I was having my kids do their math online every day, even though we use teaching textbooks and I can print it out if I need to. Emma was doing her Spanish every day and her chemistry every day, and Jack was doing Japanese every day, which all of those are online based classes. So I want to get back to the screen-free days. We have had a few over the past couple of months, and essentially what ends up happening, it's just really quiet in the house, and we read and just kind of have good conversation, and sometimes go to the coffee shop or the library, and it is really nice. So I want to make sure that I'm focusing on these two weekly rhythms. They are partly for my kids, but they are also for me. And including rhythms that you can incorporate your kids in, I think is really valuable. It shows them how to create specific rhythms in their own lives. It can help them with time management because they know when they have certain things that they are going to be doing. So other days have to kind of be a little bit fuller maybe with online work. And yes, so overall, those are really two of the most important things that I want to work on. The other things that I'm going to work on are going to be, I will put this under home management strategies, and that is food prep. I will also put weekly planning. And then the other thing that I will put down is exclusive content in my membership community. And like I said, we're going to be focusing on goals and boundaries and a lot of that type of stuff over the next several months. I'm really excited. I think I have some really good ideas. At least I think they're good. So I am happy about things. Okay, so for my daily habits, I am going to do AM routine 1, AM routine 2, and AM routine 3. These are the different tiers for my morning routine, and I do have a full video if you're interested in seeing how that kind of breaks down. I will leave a link in the description box. And then the other thing that I'm going to put under my daily habits is pause. And that I'm going to set an alarm on my phone for a particular time in the day. And when the alarm goes off, I want to pause. And so it'll probably be something like, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock, maybe it'll be 2:30, I don't know, because depending on when I'm bringing Emma to cross country, pausing while in the car isn't necessarily going to work. But I definitely want to make sure that I'm starting to do that because it's a habit that really needs to be worked on in my life. I need to be able to stop for just a little bit. And I'm not really good at doing that. I like to be busy. I like to do things that matter to me. I don't mean just busy for busy's sake. That I really don't like. But if I'm working on a particular project, then I feel really fulfilled. And I think part of my issue is that I really am passionate about sharing about homeschooling and goals and, rhythms and routines. I love sharing that information. The reason I love sharing it so much is because it is information that I looked for when my kids were younger and I could not find it. I was successful in finding some things. I leaned a lot on Simple Mom back in the day. I also leaned a lot on Soul Mama, so Tish Oxenrider and Amanda Soul, and I kind of miss some of the simplicity and some of the rhythms that I had cultivated when my kids were young, and I want to get back to some of that. I feel like the world is just so noisy lately, and I don't want to listen to it, but I do really love what I do, and I want to help and encourage others. And so I just need to figure out a better way, perhaps, to do that, to work on that. Now, do I put 4 weeks even though we're already a week into September? I will. Why not? Okay. The first week really won't get checked off at all, but that's okay. Overall, this is definitely a lighter month, and it's going to be interesting to kind of consider some of the different ideas that I explored during my fall refresh. Considering my time, I think that's really going to be an interesting experience for me, because even though I do spend a lot of time making sure that I am incredibly efficient with my time, I have to be super efficient with my time, which is part of the reason I use time blocks in my day. It definitely helps keep me on track when I can fully engage with a particular task or thing throughout the day instead of trying to jump back and forth between a lot of different things. It definitely helps me. But I also want to make sure that I am including some time for other enjoyable things as well. And I don't want you to think that I'm complaining, because I am very fulfilled in my life. I'm very pleased with all of the things that I have been working on. I'm not doing anything that I don't want to do, but I have to remember that I don't have time to do all of the things. Even if they are good things, I do not have time to do all of them. And that's something that's kind of hard to remember sometimes. Like, if it's a good thing, you want to make room for it. And you can, but sometimes what ends up happening is that you get so run down, even if it's a positive thing, that you no longer are able to give what you need to for that particular project. So I just have to remember that I want to make sure I am keeping some work-life balance. And when your work is something that you really enjoy, I think that can be challenging. Typically, I will put some of these stickers on this side, which is where I do my focus areas. So this week's focus has been the website. Next week, it is going to be office and consider my time. Then I want to do yarn and sewing, and then I do want to work on my basement. I did a huge basement clean out, in May maybe, and everything looked really, really good. And I just don't go down there often enough, I think, is what I've learned, because it is a disaster down there. And yes, unfortunately, that is where we are at. In this section, I will put to watch, and it's typically any shows or movies that are coming out that I want to see. I'm not sure of anything right now, though. I have not considered the fall TV watching because I just haven't had time. I know football starts this weekend, I think. I used to put the category to buy here for big purchases, but I've moved this into my monthly planner, which is where I do my financial planning, and then I don't do anything down here, although I probably could do like memories or something from the month. So this is where I'm going to leave off for today. I know it was quite a long video, and not so many maybe projects, but I think it's going to be an interesting next few weeks to kind of consider my time and rework maybe some of my time blocks so that I am taking time during the day to work on some other things. I might have to shift some things. So we'll see. I might be adjusting some things, some of my time blocks, some of my rhythms. We'll see, but it's really going to be considering my time, these 2 weekly rhythms that I want to focus on, and then figuring out some fun projects that maybe I can use resources that I already have in my house to start working on, maybe for Christmas presents, which if you are a handicraft person, you know that Christmas presents ought to start January 1st, but mine are going to start in the fall. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Again, I would love for you to come over and check out my membership community. We have a great group of homeschool moms over there. We're super supportive. I'm very happy with the community, and I would love to include you in that. So thank you again so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.